So what we're doing today is a DIY fire pit. So as you can see, I've got it marked out here. And so this is 14 feet. I think that's about the ideal size. And then I'm gonna do a 42-inch fire pit that I've already spec'd out the dimensions online. So had a 12-foot ring, actually went to 14 feet. That's gonna look a little bit better. So DIY fire pit, we're gonna do gravel or river pebble in here, so like small rocks. Put it on top of landscape fabric, then do a smokeless fire pit in the middle. So what you want to do to start this is measure out how wide you want your fire pit, the diameter, then go halfway, put a stick or a stake in the center, come around with some inverted marking paint. You can use spray paint too, but this inverted marking paint is really easy to use. Measure out some rope, tie it to your stake, and just work your way around. And then the other thing you want to do is call before you dig. It takes a couple days, but do it ahead of time. Make sure you're not going to hit any electrical things like that. So to get started on a project like this, what you want usually is an edger. This small shovel is kind of an edger too, because it's got a flat edge. This is exactly 5 inches, so works well to do the edge. And I've actually already done the edge. Just went around, just created a nice clean edge. That's really going to help you. And then to get kind of, you know, down a little bit further, you can use a digging shovel, or a transfer shovel helps too in the process. I kind of like to have them all personally, all 4 of these, but you can kind of get away. You can honestly get away with just one. It'd be hard just with maybe the transfer shovel, you know, but certainly these 2 you could get away with. It's really up to you, but you've got to get 5 inches of soil out of there. And again, my thing is keep the lines clean. So like I said, I've gone around the outside, and you can kind of see this is a good starting point. Make sure you've got nice clean lines, and then from there it's a matter of getting everything out. Alright, so I'm back at you, and as you can see, I've got lines across here every foot. I've gone a little more than halfway down, but I want to see how this is going to work. So as opposed to digging, you can just take out chunks of soil, which is a heck of a lot easier. So what I think I'm going to do now, I've got all my horizontal lines. I think I might cut it into chunks, loosen it up, and then at the end just kind of remove everything at once. So what's going on, guys? Quick status update. Made pretty good progress here, but what I was doing was I made the horizontal cuts, and then was going back one by one and doing the vertical cut and going around it, getting it loose. What I realized is more efficient is do your vertical cuts and then do your horizontal cuts all at once. Try to keep it around a foot by a foot, and then I'm gonna have my whole grid, and then I'm gonna come around and loosen it up. That's gonna be a lot easier and a lot quicker. We're almost complete with getting all these out of here. We're just loosening up this last third or so, then we'll get all these squares of sod out of here. So what's up, guys? just finished getting all the sod out, got it transported out of here, and laid out a couple kind of test bricks that I picked up just to kind of figure out a little bit of the style I want. So what I'm gonna do next is probably do some dirt removal here, kind of start to get it leveled out, and kind of in the way I want, get it down to 4 inches. So a little bit of work left, but here's kind of what it looks like when you get all the sod out. So good progress, but a little bit more to go. After loads and loads of digging, finally got this area all excavated, and I got the landscape fabric on. So what you want to do is just make sure that this surface is as flat as you can get it, and then depending on what your bricks look like, I'm going to use these Catalina bricks. They've got a lip on the edge, so you may need to dig down on whatever side this lip is going to be on. So this is a little lower than this, and so the brick will kind of sit at that angle and sit perfectly level. So use a high quality landscape fabric. I'm using the DeWitt product. Just rolled this down just kind of haphazardly just to make sure I covered my full circle. And then what I'll do is start laying bricks, and then I will, because I've got a higher back to this, lay in the farthest back portion. I'll do 3 bricks stacked up down to 2, and then 1 row on the back side. So let's go ahead and start getting some bricks down and showing you the leveling process. So I got everything as level with the dirt as I possibly could, but again, it's just hard to get everything exactly level, you know, perfectly to a T until you lay those final bricks. So what I did was I laid this out just kind of as a test, laid out all my bricks, just kind of temporarily stacked them up, you know, and shifted them around, made sure they fit. And then what I did was just spray painted lines for each of the bricks to remember where it went. You know, just use some marking spray paint to do that quick. And then I also marked where I went to 2 bricks, where I went to 3, which is all the way to here, and then where I went back to 2, and then this is the single brick. So it's nice to lay it out ahead of time just so you know exactly where you want the bricks, because once you level them, you know, you're pretty much done. So let's go ahead and show you the leveling process. So I've got some levels, some sand, a dead blow hammer, and we can go ahead and start with our first brick. Get that down. Now let's see how it looks for, well, there you go guys, perfectly level on that side. You might want to get a little sand on the other part of the brick. And what I'm going to recommend for you guys is always start with your first row if you're going up multiple rows, and get that exactly level as much as you can, and do that before you shift to your next level, because the next level should just really be stacked right on top of your first level. And if your first level is good, you're gonna be absolutely good to go. So let's see what we got here for our first brick. Actually looking pretty good now. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So once you have a brick down and it's perfect like that, go right to the next one. back at the fire pit, got all the bricks laid, as you can see. Heck of a lot of work, but kind of showed you the process to get the first row in. Then if you're doing the first row is the most critical. If you're doing two, it's just stacking up from there. What I used was the Loctite PL500 landscape construction adhesive. Just laying that kind of on either side of the bricks and then popping in the middle. I did kind of an alternating pattern here. All right guys, so river pebble, obviously you can pick this up, you know, from your local quarry, something like that. I personally just pick it up in bags from Menards, but the problem is, as you can see here, there's a lot of residual clay on the river pebble, river rock, whatever you're using. It tends to just have that, you know, that clay sitting on it, which is really annoying. So what I do with this is I take 2 bags, then wash it all down, flip it over with the drain spade, dump it in. One additional thing I wanted to mention was when you're stacking your bricks up, especially if you're going 2 levels, but even kind of behind your first row, if you're just doing 1 row, make sure to backfill behind the bricks. That's just going to give them some stabilization and allow them not to push back, move around nearly as much. And it also helps to have some base back there in terms of, you know, water getting into your space. It just kind of helps to have something to provide structure and also allow the water to flow down and through. So what's going on, guys? We just finished up the fire pit and this is how it looks. The fire pit with the solo stove. Just had a test fire on that last night, so everything is working great. This is how the fire pit area turned out. As you can see, I got some Adirondack chairs, got the solo stove with the surround set up. Just a very super high quality product from Solo Stove. I love it. It looks great, functions really well. So my focus on this video was doing the foundation, building out this fire pit area, and then bringing in something like a Solo Stove to make it a little bit easier. And I wanted that professional look of the Solo Stove. You can build these yourself. You know, you can build a fire pit yourself, obviously, but I wanted to build the fire pit area and bring in something like the Solo Stove for kind of that smokeless or low smoke option. So all in on this, it was a few $100 in materials. You know, I would say somewhere around $400, a couple hundred for all the bricks. Again, I had to go up 3 levels, and a couple hundred for all the rock. I was at about, you know, maybe 40-45 bags just from my local hardware store. Obviously you can get this stuff cheaper, you know, cheaper bricks, cheaper rock. You know, you're gonna lower the cost of your overall project here, but I think it looks pretty incredible. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really think this is a great way to turn what we saw as a hole in the ground into something really beautiful for your yard that you can enjoy with family, those around you, and it's really going to be a centerpiece for your yard, your outdoor setup. So I would recommend doing it. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this project and how it turned out. Or if you've got any questions, things like that, throw it in the comment section as well, because others might be thinking the same thing. All right, guys, well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching the video, and we'll talk to you on the next one.